Hey, so, Christmas is coming, and I was thinking,
It's here.
we need to boost morale. Morale around the office is really low.
It is.
So I was thinking we got to have an office Christmas party for the staff.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
So that's two.
That's two. Who else we got?
That's it. It's just us, me and you.
Oh, wait. No, I can't make it.
It's just me.
It's just going to be you. Just remember, keep it under budget.
Yep.
Which is $0.
Yep.
And don't go too crazy.
You got it.
All right. Thanks. This is Office Christmas Party.
Was that dynamic?
Hopefully.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. I'm Mike Butler.
Happy holidays. I'm Mike Field.
And you're listening to Forgotten Cinema. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the audience simply didn't catch on to a movie in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about it, don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it because you never know, you might find your own forgotten gem.
That's not in there.
I always add it. If you enjoy our podcast or if you enjoy Forgotten Cinema, we want to hear from you. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're available on all platforms with a backlog of over 250 episodes for your listening pleasure.
What's going on?
Well, then, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy New Year.
Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year.
Happy Boxing Day.
That's right. What else? What are we missing?
Happy non-denominational winter solstice.
Excellent.
Happy
Good job.
Festivus
For the rest of us. Where's the poll?
Air your grievances.
All right. So listen.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. As I said
Nothing,
before.
I tried to book a big contract with my firm, but it's not looking good. And my sister, who's the CEO of the company that I work for, wants to shut my branch down. The only way I can think of to get out of this is to land that contract by inviting the guy who's going to make the decision to our bomb ass Christmas party and hope that he enjoys it and see that our working culture is better than anyone else's because our servers are all the same. And by the way, we do stuff with servers, I guess. So I bought all the booze. I have a snow gun machine, but it's accidentally going to have cocaine in it. It's just got things.
So you have equated yourself with the TJ Miller character.
Unfortunately.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. That's right. We are doing Office Christmas Party, a relatively new film, only about 8 years old.
Yeah.
So a little over 8 years old by the time you're listening to this. So it's going to be, and I believe one of my concerns with going into this film, and I think I said this last week, or maybe when we picked the episodes, was that this was going to turn into just us doing, lines from the movie, because comedies like this are just kind of
all about the lines.
Yeah. And I fear that we're going to get into that. So I'm hoping I've got some kind of talking points that we can kind of go off on this.
I did my very best not to write down just 100 lines. I just picked kind of the best ones that I liked and shied away from that in the notes.
All right. So we'll this is probably either going to be a 30-minute episode or we're actually going to get into some deep topics here. I mean, I know I'm not going to do this to you, but I do have at least 20 cast members listed here.
I already told you I'm cutting your segment if it goes long.
No way. I'm going to take extra long. All right. Office Christmas Party has a runtime of 105 minutes. It's rated R, production budget of $45 million. It came out on Friday, December 9th, 2016. Its opening weekend, it did $16.9 million. Domestic, $54.8 million. International was $59.7 million for a worldwide total of $114.5 million. So a relatively decent hit. I don't think it's a hit that's going to spawn a sequel, but a good hit. So
all right, yeah.
Production company was, I meant that it's not the type of movie that would get a sequel. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
like even Wedding Crashers didn't get a sequel, and that was huge.
I'm surprised Wedding Crashers didn't.
Well, what are they going to crash?
That's true. This probably has so many people you couldn't really do more.
True.
I mean, it's just too big of a cat.
True.
All going to ask for more money.
Of course. Production company was DreamWorks Pictures, Reliance Entertainment, Bluegrass Films, and Amblin Partners, and it was distributed by Paramount Pictures. So it came out on the 9th of December. Let's go back a week to the 2nd, where you had a wide release of Incarnate and Believe, and a limited release of Jackie. I saw Jackie. I did not see the other two.
Jackie's the Natalie Portman.
Yeah, very good, very good. The 9th, when Office Christmas Party came out, it went up against in a wide release The Bounce Back, Nocturnal Animals, and Miss Sloane, and a limited release of Frank and Lola, The Comedian, and La La Land. I imagine La La Land goes wider, closer to the holiday. I don't quite remember.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And then the 16th, the week after, you had a wide release of a movie called Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, Collateral Beauty, Manchester by the Sea, which is phenomenal, but
super.
I can only watch it once. Fences is a limited release, A Kind of Murder, The Hollow Point, and Solace. And I think Mike and I have talked multiple times about the power of Denzel Washington at the box office when we worked at the theater. Fences came out. It was a 3-hour film. And I was like, this is not gonna, I remember talking, I don't know if it was you or somebody, and we were talking about how the Denzel effect, like people just come out for him. Yep. I'm like, there's no way people are coming for Fences. It's 3 hours. It's based on a play. It's a drama. He's not a good guy in it. Like he's not a good guy. Yeah, exactly. And still was busy. Cinema One, always packed, right? Yep.
You can't beat Denzel.
Bravo. This film was directed by two people, Josh Gordon and Will Speck. They are a directing duo. They've nominated for an Oscar for a short called Culture. They've also done Blades of Glory and The Switch. The Switch also has Jason Bateman in it. There are 6 separate writers on this film. So the story credits go to John Lucas and Scott Moore, and then they hired Timothy Dowling to rewrite them. Then the screenplay credits go to Justin Malin, Laura Solin, and Dan Mazer. So let me go back to John Lucas, who's done Lucas and Moore are a writing team. So they have done 4 Christmases, The Hangover, and Bad Moms. And I
like parties and Christmas, huh?
I also think that I saw that they have in pre-production or maybe in development or in script is Bad Dads.
Oh, I think that had been rumored for a while. So I think they were going to do Bad Moms too, and Bad Dads was supposed to come out like right after. So maybe the pandemic stopped that.
Maybe. Timothy Dowling, who was hired to rewrite them, has done Role Models, which is an episode we did, Pixels, and Just Go With It. Screenplay credits, let's go to Justin Malin, who's done Father Figures and Clifford the Big Red Dog. Laura Solin, who's done Let It Snow and the TV show Hot in Cleveland. And Mazer has been nominated for 2 Oscars for Borat and Borat 2. I'm not saying the titles because they're way too long. And she also did Bridget Jones' Baby. Cinematographer was Jeff Cutter, who's done Orphan. Do you know Orphan's getting a 3rd film? Did you see the? Yeah. Did you see the first one? I saw the first one
a while ago.
I never saw the second one, and I
also have not seen the second one.
So Cutter's also done 10 Cloverfield Lane and Prey. Composer was Theodore Shapiro, who's done the TV show Severance, which you should watch, Butler. 13 Going on 30 and The Devil Wears Prada. 2 editors, Jeff Groth and Evan Henke. Groth has nominated for... I'm laughing because we know Groth. Groth is nominated for an Oscar for Joker. He's also done Project X, which have a lot of similarities in this film, and The Gray Man. And
which we did Project X.
We did. Henke has done The Interview, Long Shot, a great film, a good film, and Borderlands. Produced by Guyman Cassidy. I think that's how you say that name. Daniel Rappaport and Scott Stuber. Cassidy has done The Fall Guy, TV show Game of Thrones, and the TV show Ripley. Rappaport has done Office Space and King of the Hill, which is another TV show. And Stuber has produced Patriots Day, which I think is on our list, and Battleship, which I know is not on our list. All right, Butler. Here comes the cast. Woo! All right, here we go. Do you really want me to do this fast? I'll do it fast. Do you want me to do it fast like Micro Machines? No.
Up to you.
That's probably a disservice to the people listening. I'll try not to go too far here, but I'm going to. No, I won't. So Jason Bateman is our lead as Josh Parker.
And that's all we got, guys. All right.
There it is. I'm not going to give you the credits that everyone knows now, like the older credits. I'm going to give you the early credits. Teen Wolf 2, Necessary Roughness, and the TV show Little House on the Prairie. There you go. Olivia Munn as Tracy Hughes, the love interest of Josh Parker, I guess, and the techie, the person who she knows all the tech and whatever.
She's got all the patents.
Right. TV show The Newsroom. She's in The Predator and X-Men Apocalypse. TJ Miller, as Butler knows. Butler claimed to be as Clay Vanstone. He's the boss. He's in the TV show Silicon Valley, Cloverfield, the first 2 Deadpools, and for calling bomb threats on Metro North. Jennifer Aniston as Carol Vance. You can cut that out if you want. I mean, it happened, but I mean, he was facing some demons, so I understand. Jennifer Aniston as Carol Vanstone, who's the TV show Friends, The Good Girl, and We're the Millers. Kate McKinnon as Mary. She's in Ghostbusters, Answer the Call, which is an an episode we did for our lead up when we did the now showing episode for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. There you go. And she's also in Barbie and Bombshell. Courtney B. Vance as Walter Davis from The Hunt for Red October, The Preacher's Wife, and Law and Order Criminal Intent TV show. I love that show. Jillian Bell as Trina. 22 Jump Street, Rough Night, Brittany Runs a Marathon, which is actually pretty good. Brittany Runs a Marathon's a good movie.
The trailer looked really good.
It's good.
I thought it was going to come to a theater.
Jillian Bell's in a lot of stuff where she's obviously comedic and she's obviously doing a lot of stuff she's almost, what's the word I'm looking for? Her comedy style is out. You know what I mean? Like very extroverted.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I really like her in Workaholics. I know you've never seen Workaholics.
I have not seen it. But Brittany Runs a Marathon there's comedy in there, but it is not like your typical Jillian Bell type comedy. So and I think she either wrote it or directed it or both. I'm not sure. I think she wrote it. She's really good in that. So I recommend that. Rob Corddry as Jeremy from Hot Tub Time Machine and The Way, Way Back, which we did an episode of. Mm-hmm. And then you got a ton of other people that are in this film that we'll get to. Vanessa Bayer as Allison from Trainwreck SNL. Randall Park is in this film. He's from the Ant-Man series. He's also in WandaVision. Sam Richardson, and he's in Veep. He's also in Promising Young Woman. He plays the DJ / I don't even know what his job is in the thing.
I think he's in accounting with the other guy.
So, and then there's a ton of other people. Butler. I mean, do you really want to go through them all? I will, but there's a lot.
Why don't you just list the names and not say what?
Karen Sony, Jamie Chung, Abby Lee, Divine Joy Randolph, Oscar winner, Andrew Leeds, Oliver Cooper, Chloe Wepper, Matt Walsh, Ben Falcone, Adrian Martinez, Fortune Feimster. I don't even know if that's how you say her name or their name, excuse me, and Eric Chavaria. Whatever. I don't know. So that's it. That's all I got. I've got their credits and we can get to their credits when we talk about them and their characters and whatnot. So, but it's so many people in this film. Okay. Did we see this together?
Yes.
We did?
Yes.
All right. I remember liking it.
Mm-hmm. As did I.
And same thing. I enjoy it. I don't not like this film. I think my biggest note is that I want them to get to the craziness of the party sooner. Like I want Project X level crazy party. Like I want a lot of that. And I don't feel like they get to it in the montage towards the end when Jesus is on the horse and stuff. And they do all that stuff. It gets really bad. Like I want that earlier. I want the party stuff earlier in the script because in this movie, because I felt like it took a long time to get there. And I don't know if it's because of my second watch, I know it's coming. I don't really know what to expect kind of thing.
Right.
So that was my one kind of big no in terms of just the difference between my first watch and second watch. But all the other jokes land, all the stuff hits for me. It's fine. That stuff makes me laugh still. Did you have any kind of difference?
I have a similar but different opinion. I'm okay with how long it takes to get to the party, but I think we leave the party too often. I think that there's a lot of the stuff like outside of the party. There's too much of Jason Bateman and Olivia Munn on the roof. There's too much of
that scene is so contrived.
It is. TJ Miller leaves and it's just like this should all be taking place in the building. It's a skyscraper. There's plenty of room for him to go elsewhere and the pimp to meet him and just to talk and like it should be more self-contained than it is. And I don't like that we leave the party. Mm-hmm. I think the hijinks before the party gets to Jesus on the horse is still really funny. Mm-hmm. A lot of the stuff with Calvin and Kate McKinnon's character trying to stop
Mary
trying to stop it from getting too crazy. I think all that stuff's really good and works before it gets really out of hand. I just think that we leave it too often. Like you said, it becomes a montage and it shouldn't be a montage. Mm-hmm. We're there for the party. Mm-hmm. I think you can have these character moments and they're great characters. I really like TJ Miller's character and Jason Bateman's character and Kate McKinnon's character and Calvin and all that. I think, and Vanessa Bayer's character, like working with Randall Park's character, like wanting
Allison and Fred.
Yeah. I think that really works. And they're great characters and, you know, they'd be great on a sitcom or like an Always Sunny type show or in a sequel that's like a different Office party. But we don't need to leave the party to have moments with them where they're funny or where they have character development. I don't think that was necessary. And I think that kind of the way you're saying is a disservice to the movie.
Well, I think that it's, I I agree with you, but I'm going to take a different avenue to that agreement.
Okay.
I do think you need to have character development in a comedy like this, and we have talked about it before. I just think that it's so contrived and it's not done in a correct way.
The rooftop stuff is absolutely like him and Olivia Munn and Jason Bateman stuff is
they just go up to the roof. This is where I go, why? Like, I'm
and
sorry.
Then just explain their feelings like,
and I know it's a comedy, and I know I'm supposed like. And here's my note. Here's my big thing. So this film primarily relies on a lot of improv for all the actors. And there are, in my notes, there are dozens of comedies that do that. They rely on that and they work and they're funny. And this movie has some funny lines and that's great.
Right.
But of those movies that rely on that type of humor, there are very few that do a really good job of making the audience care and want to root for the leads, like Wedding Crashers. Like Wedding Crashers is really good because you want Owen Wilson to get the girl at the end and you want Vince Vaughn to get the girl at the end as well. You want them to kind of grow up a little bit. And I think that's what you don't. That movie does a really good job of making
I really like Wedding Crashers, but I don't know how much I root for. See, it's been a while since I've seen it. I root for one of them and I don't root for the other.
How do you not root for both of them?
I mean, one of the other, he's funny, but like one of them kind of still remains a douche, and I don't really remember.
They don't remain a douche. They just kind of like they separate them because they have a falling out.
Right.
Because Vince Vaughn's character he's getting married, and he's still and Owen Wilson's like, I can't believe you're turning your back on me, and then that's how he goes to see. So
Owen Wilson goes to see.
He goes to see Will Ferrell because he's like trying to. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Vince Vaughn.
And he comes and quite. Here we go, breaking down Wedding Crashers. And when it comes back to the wedding, he's not only coming back to get with to get the girl, but he's coming back to apologize to his buddy to be his best man because he said he wouldn't stand next to him when it'd be his best man. Right. Yeah. Guys' relationships are a lot different than girls. I mean, you know what I mean in terms of like
yes,
yeah. As I said, like if you had a falling out with your best friend, and then he just shows up and he's just like, I fucked up, and excuse me, I messed up, and you're like, we're good, bro. Like you don't need to sit, that kind of thing. Okay, yeah. All right. So, anyways, well, what I'm saying is in this film, like they don't do a good job of making me like I know that Jason Bateman's character, Josh, and Olivia Munn's character, and I'm not gonna say they're Tracy. I know that Josh and Tracy are supposed to get together.
Sure, you get that,
and I know it's gonna happen, but like I don't ever get a twinge of like I'm supposed to because they don't do a good job of setting them up.
I think they do a good job of setting up. I got you for Secret Santa again. I did too, and they have that smile. I'm like, that's a good moment between them because it's slight. They're not over explaining. They didn't set them up in a meet cute. But when the door closes and they're stuck on the rooftop, and it's like the whole setup should be like, and they have the Santa Claus moment or the two, the puffy snowman outfit. Mm-hmm. That's cute. I like that. But then you end it on the rooftop, and A, it's halfway through the movie, and B, it's just overly explained. It's just like we gotta finish this up. It's just like, oh, I liked you. Well, I liked you. Well, you missed my chance. Well, I guess I did. I don't know where that drama comes from or why we needed it. But I was okay with them just kind of realizing that they should just be together.
Yeah. I think my point being was that a movie like Wedding Crashers and similar to that style.
What else besides Wedding Crashers? Is that the only thing?
Well, that's the one I wrote down.
I would say Christmas Vacation as well.
Okay. Yeah. Christmas Vacation.
It goes crazy, but you always really.
Those movies last long. Those movies last longer because of that element, because you care for them and you want to, and they're funny. A movie like Office Christmas Party, and I know it's only 8 years, where it's just the humor and the other stuff's kind of lacking. That movie doesn't last as long in terms of like in the zeitgeist later on. It won't be like a Christmas, the biggest reason why a lot of people do Christmas movies is they're fun to do, but also is that if you do a Christmas movie that hits, it's going to be on every single year. And you're going to, and if you sign a nice deal, you're going to get money. But that's the whole point. Like that's what you want, to live on forever.
The problem is nowadays, there are so few of them. There used to be a ton, but how many since like Christmas Vacation and Home Alone?
Good ones, or just there's tons of
good ones that live on.
Right.
The ones that live on. There haven't been that many in a long time. I would say probably Elf is probably the most recent one that's lived on.
I like Four Christmases. I don't think it's there yet. It's actually, I like it.
It's okay.
I enjoy it, but I don't think we're at that level yet where it's lived on, but there's a lot of good moments in Four Christmases. I love The Family Stone, and that's a Christmas film. I know it's not a comedy,
but that's also before
drama comedy.
That's before Elf, right?
Yeah, no. I know. I thought you were talking about recent ones.
Yeah.
Family Stone's fairly recent. It's like early 2000s.
That's before. It was before Elf, or maybe right around the same time.
Around the same time.
Yeah, I'm saying like the last 15, 20 years, you really haven't seen too much.
So you're saying like 2010.
I'd say since 2010, maybe even a little bit before. I think an issue that we had, even like doing we lucked out. Christmas Party was like on our list, and it happened to coincide with Christmas, and I was picking the movies. But I think that Christmas movies in general, it's hard to find. Krampus is great. I love Krampus.
It's not a comedy, but it is comedy, but it's not like this type of comedy.
Gremlins kind of way. Yeah. Nowadays, it's tough to find a Christmas movie that's just even in general that's just either not a classic, or not forgettable garbage. Like in that, and even like a forgotten cinema kind of way. Just like it just wasn't very good kind of way. It's very hard to find that many things. I think For Christmas is good to put on the list, maybe for another year. But I think it's very hard to find Christmas movies that stand the test of time, but also aren't just hits.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So I don't know where we went from there. How we got them there.
I don't remember either. Oh, the character development.
Well, now I'm thinking
that's what makes things.
Now I'm sitting here thinking about Christmas films.
But the thing is, I like these characters. I think they're very good in like an Always Sunny sitcom kind of way, like characters that don't necessarily change. You just want to see what hijinks they get into next.
Do you think that there are too many named actors and actresses in this film that it kind of takes away from, like, we don't need, like, I mean, I get it. They all want to be, it's fun. Let's get all our, it's fine. But like, Don't you think like you need a movie like this, maybe you have like 4 or 5 names, and then you have people maybe that are not well known. I mean, like, granted, maybe these people are not well known at this point. We just know them now because they've all hit.
I think some of them already were named.
Yeah.
To begin with.
I don't know, because I feel like some of the, like this type of, like Project X, you maybe know Miles Teller's in there real quick, but this is before he was obviously how he is now.
He plays Miles Teller in the movie, right?
Nah, he plays somebody. No, he plays like that baseball player that goes off and comes back. Okay, but he's not who he is now. Like, he's obviously done a lot bigger films now, but it's a relative cast of people that you kind of don't know. So that the party is the party and the plot is the star. And I feel like with this film, that's not the case. It's whoever can make a quick joke and make a funny joke, and who's funny in this scene in there. And I feel like that's where. You know what I mean? I
guess, but I'm not really necessarily. I'm there to watch the party hijinks, but like with these characters making jokes about it.
Sure.
I'm there for the cast, but I do think that because then you separate them and they're no longer in the party, then you ruin it, because then we flash to Vanessa Bayer's got to have something to say. The other dude with the prostitute has to be. Let's go jump to the prostitute. Let's jump to the pimp. It's like I don't need that. I don't need the car scene where Carol's waiting to get to the office Christmas party necessarily. Like, I don't need, or like at the airport. Like, just be there and be like, yeah, my flight was delayed. Boom, she's already back.
Right.
These asides, and maybe to your point, like being forced to, we have to go back and focus on these characters.
Right.
Really hurts it, because if they were nobodies or lessers or, up and comers, you wouldn't be forced to like, they need a scene right now. They need a scene. Like, no, get to them when you get to them, but like, focus on what's going on at the party.
Well, they're trying to introduce character arcs for all the characters, the brother and sister character arc, the two lover character arc, the Jason, Tracy and Josh getting together, the loser character arc.
Secretary's got she's got the single mom's got the
Mary's Kate McKinnon's Mary's characters has a character arc a little bit with Rob Corddry, like obviously they're supposed to get together like that, but they never. But like her kind of the way she's in the beginning. And
she
then
loosens up.
She does, but she doesn't though, because you can like, when you knew that, I understand what they were trying to do, but when she brings out the cheese in the meeting,
right?
Clearly she's one of them. Clearly she's like a kind of
for her to realize that.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's too much of trying to have those character arcs in there that pull away from stuff. Like it
might be the character arcs more than the people themselves.
If you don't have the brother sister stuff, you don't need Jennifer Aniston. You just need some unnamed person or some not a big name person comes like, I'm going to close this place down if you don't have this in time. Kind of like in Gung Ho. Do you ever see Gung Ho?
Yes, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Gung Ho, when it's just basically the people from Japan saying like, you need to do this. We're coming in at this date. Right. You don't need it to be, they don't need any kind of character arc story. They're just the people that you have to get it done for them.
I would even say you could get a big name to do that. And that the cameo is at the beginning and end.
Sure. That's fine. Or at the end. Yeah. They just show up. Oh my God. It says, yeah. And if you're going to do a Christmas party, you do somebody that's like, like you do like,
holy crap, Chevy Chase.
Yeah. You do something like that. So I think that just trying to get all these little character arcs in, while it's admirable and I respect it, I think that in a movie like this, I think it hurts it a little bit, but it helps it.
Right.
I don't know. I think what we're talking about, quite honestly, I think we both like this film. I think it's funny. You think it's funny. I don't know if you think this way. I think what we're debating now is the fact that it's not good enough to kind of stand the test of time, where it's a Christmas party a Christmas movie you watch every year.
Oh, see, I don't know, because I really liked watching this. I'm like, I'm not putting it on the same level as Home Alone and Christmas Vacation at all, but I would put it at the same level as Four Christmases.
You have to watch Four Christmases again. I probably like this a little bit more than Four Christmases. You just said you haven't watched it in a while.
In a while, but I can still remember what I felt about things. But again, it's like, but also it's not given a chance. This thing doesn't repeat, or at least I don't know if it repeats. I don't have cable.
Well, it's rated R, so it's not going to be on.
It's not going to be on regular cable. It's going to be cut down if it is. But also, it's not streaming anywhere.
It's only 8 years old too, so there is that. It's a newer film.
Available. It's not like, hey, it's Christmas time. Come stream it.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in December. Let's see if it pops up.
But I think that hurts something like this, and I feel like that hurts something like Trick or Treat, where it's like, it's Halloween time. Let's take it off streaming. And it's just like,
sure,
you got it. Like, that's a movie that should be an absolute Halloween classic, and I think it's got cult following. But I think that because people take it away every Halloween, it's like it'll never get there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The same with Krampus. I think Krampus is getting there, but it's slower than it should, because I don't think it's being
Krampus is really good,
like shoveled out to the masses like it should. Like, it's Christmas time, watch Krampus.
Krampus is really good though. People should watch Krampus every year.
Really, really
good. It's really good. I would not do the eggnog luge. It is unsanitary. Unsanitary, Butler.
I don't think you have to like suck his dick like they're doing.
Well, that's clearly what it is. I am not doing it because it's unsanitary. I
would put my mouth against it, but if I found out anybody else did what
everyone's putting their mouth on it.
But you don't have to. I don't think that's how you're supposed to do the luge thing. You're supposed to put your mouth and catch it.
I would not do it because it's unsanitary.
Because it's eggnog. But
also,
that's a lot of eggnog. That's gross.
That is.
You want me to chug that much milk?
No, that'd be gross.
I like eggnog. That's ridiculous.
I absolutely believe that they would 3D print their genitalia.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I don't think that's how 3D printers work. But 100%.
No, that's how. You'd have to scan it in. So you have to scan it into the computer. So it
takes a lot longer first. You have to scan it into like Blender. And
we don't even know what they do. This company does. We don't even know what this company does except tech.
They at least provide server support for other companies.
Tech.
That's all you know. But also, she's making Airway and whatever. Yeah.
Oh, anywhere.
Anywhere. Yeah. That's right,
Which I know in theory. I remember when we watched this film, I looked it up. I know in theory that would work, but they don't have the infrastructure to make it work. Like, it's not really something that's been able to do. Like
it just sounds crazy.
Using all the electronics wherever you are to get yourself a Wi-Fi signal, to get yourself online.
Yeah, the electricity in the air makes the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's like I said, in theory, yes, but
it's
in
like the
practicality,
internet version of the Nikola Tesla. Like 0 point energy, like just energy fields everywhere.
Well, I mean, maybe we'll get there at some point. I don't know. Another similarity in this film with films like this movie, I want to know what your thoughts on this is. These type of comedies always have our lead guy, our straight guy, which is the Jason Bateman character, which he's kind of not really a straight guy, but he's more a straight man to the humor is what I'm talking about. He's always the second in command to somebody who is not good at their job, is bumbling, needs help. You know what I mean? Like our lead, the second in command at a company, always is sacrificing his happiness for his boss, who he respects or he loves, or he, feels the need to. That's always in these type of comedies.
Sure.
To the point where it's becoming a trope, I think.
I think so, but I think that, like you said, like he's kind of the straight man in this. Like he's just as goofy. Him and Clay are kind of still like, they're really good friends. He's not like the Smithers to his comedic goofy Burns. He's like I love where they're playing Nerf guns in the store.
Yeah.
And they knock down the tree. It's like he's almost at the same level as Clay.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't go. But and then Clay, though, seems to know at least a little bit what he's talking about. He's in the meetings doing the contracts. He's not like, call me in the morning, go see if you get that contract. I'm going to be partying right now. Or I'm going to go, call Drake, is that your party? I'm there. It's like, no, he wants the firm to succeed. He's helping them. He's there in these meetings. And I think that puts him, he's a little different than maybe the tropes, but I'm not to say it's not a trope, but I don't know what else you would do. Like the boss is the straight man trying to help his goofy underlying.
No, I'm just saying that's always what you see in these type of films.
Yeah, I think this switches it up enough that they're almost at least a little bit more on equal ground.
I don't know if I'm saying no to double my salary and moving to New York. I don't know.
Chicago's all cold and sucks.
But I don't know if I'm saying no to that. I don't know. I mean, I need to know what if he's the chief technical officer, he's making
good money.
What do you think he's making?
I think he's
200,
250.
So you're talking 500,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gone. I mean,
he doesn't say no.
I love you, Clay, but I'm out.
Well, she said when she closes the branch. So it's like, that thing kind of pissed me off too, where it's like, how could you? It's like, A, he didn't say yes. And B, it was if the branch shut down. It's not like she was trying to steal him from Clay.
Right.
She said, when the branch shuts down, you should work for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's a lifeline. It's not like a betrayal.
Right.
So everybody getting mad at that was really dumb. And her going, she offered me triple and moving costs and cost of living or whatever. It's just like, then you should have taken it too.
Yeah.
Clay, this is assuming Clay is out of a job and the business shut down. Not like I want you to work for me while Clay is still in office.
Let's be honest, though. No, Clay has his trust fund, so he's fine. Yeah.
Clay will be fine. He's got a trust fund to fall back on. So that she sets up a situation where it's not a big deal. Yeah. Which is why I'm like, that's not a stake. Right. That's just trying to create a stake or a problem within this friends group that you don't need.
And there's you never really see a familial or a kind of connection with Josh with everyone else in the party. He's their boss, so he's just kind of like getting the other employees. So it's not like
you can tell he's well liked.
Yeah, but
any situation he's in, he has a very fast rapport with them and goes like, "Hey, how about this?" But all right, and you're done.
Yeah, I guess. But
hey, buddy, they're just jealous of your girlfriend, man. I'm jealous, and he's like, yeah. Like he knows how to talk to everybody.
But there's more. But to me, there needs to be a little bit more for me to kind of believe that he's like part of the family. He would never leave them. And that they would be hurt if he left.
I don't think I need that because you don't get that because the firm would be shut down. He's not leaving them. Mm-hmm. They're all going to end up working at McDonald's if he doesn't take this double salary job. It just, the stakes aren't there for me because she's saying no stakes because there's going to be no job. Do you want a new job? So it's different. I think what should be is she shouldn't be CEO or their uncle is CEO or something. If they want to do the sibling rivalry, I think I prefer the one cameo at the very end being the CEO. But if they want sibling rivalry, she has a firm. He's got one firm. Their uncle runs the business and she's trying to poach. Mm-hmm. That I think would then set up stakes. But right now it's like there's no stakes there. Yeah. And that's just like, why are we adding an extra plot line? There's
plot lines all over the place.
Yeah, Clay's going to drink his booze and go crazy and take his coke and want to jump the bridge. And he's with the pimp. That's your end game drama. Yeah. The extra stuff you don't need because also Jason Bateman and Olivia Munn's character already had that stupid roof scene. So you don't need that conflict because they've already gotten together 35 minutes into the movie.
What about the Walter Davis stuff with the Courtney Vance character? Like what does that serve?
Trying to get his contract?
Trying to get his contract. I mean, they don't get it. Party. Yeah, I know.
I really like his stuff. Yeah. I think his stuff's really funny because after the coke happens and he loosens up. I think that's important to show that Clay has a good effect on people as well as maybe like it's a little out of control, but people like Clay and like he can open up even the most stingy person. Mm-hmm. He can open up and make crazy. Like I think that works.
Gotcha.
Do you not think that works?
I think his stuff is funny, but then it's kind of like they're trying to, that's the one, his subplot of we got to get his money. We got to get the deal. We got to get the contract happens. Right. And then I feel like the movie's it almost feels like the movie feels like, okay, how do we end now? You know what I mean? Like I a little bit like, okay, now what? Now we bring in the pimp character again. And that's, then all of a sudden now it's Clay is missing. We got to save Clay. Clay wants to, you know what I mean? That I just feel like it kind of finding out that Walter is not a client. He's somebody who thinks he's going to work there. Right. He got fired. Like that's something that comes at the end of the film. To me, if that's the big lead of this whole party was for Walter, like that's something that would culminate at the end of the film. And I feel like it culminates early and then we're like, okay, well now what?
Well, I think if you have that where it culminates at the end of the film, where it is just getting the contract, then Walter needs to be more of a character. And then you're shoving else like Walter's little bits are good. But if that's the fact, then I need to see Walter throughout the entire course of the party. Slowly, the cocaine shouldn't happen then, because that like instantly opens him up a little bit more. He gets hit in the cocaine. If you haven't seen the movie, he gets hit with a bag of cocaine they think is snow, the fake snow they're doing, and he kind of like opens up a little bit and goes crazy. But if they didn't do that, they shouldn't do the cocaine, and he's stodgy throughout the whole thing, and he finally opens up, and Clay really gets to him. And that becomes the theme of the movie, but then he needs to become much more of a major character, and I don't need more characters.
I don't want to rewrite the film because it works as it is.
Right.
But I'm going to pitch this to you. Okay.
Okay.
The Clay character is somebody who is fun, loves his employees, loves everything, but doesn't take anything seriously, views the employees as having a good time, doesn't view the employees as people. Let's put it that way. Okay. Walter Davis comes in. I'm going to get this deal. We're going to nail this deal. We're going to get him. The whole thing happens. Clay finds out that Walter is, has been let go. There's no deal. Clay gets upset because he finds that out. And then you kind of get the Mary scene again. And she tells him, he lost his job. He's been really depressed. And you find out that Walter is suicidal depression. He gets cocaine. So he's in the car trying to drive, and it's Clay and them trying to stop him. So it's like Clay kind of learns a lesson to, save somebody, a person who he has met. And then you kind of like see like in the eyes of whoever the big CEO is, that he's somebody who is truly somebody who loves his employees and loves the people. I've removed that from Clay or that we already have.
Okay.
So I'm kind of giving Clay that kind of, now it's Clay's story. Now it's not Josh's and there's no Josh and Tammy or whatever her name is again. I can't even remember her name.
Jason Bateman, Olivia.
Tracy. No, we got character names. I don't know. I'm just I'm thinking off my feet.
I don't know if I prefer. I like Clay caring about his employees. I like him being like a little bit better.
I'm only saying it in the realm of the regard of trying to make Walter more of towards the end, more of a bigger part of the story. Yeah.
I would even say that I'm okay with Clay. I think mixing both, I think it would have been, and I was expecting it because I forgot this part. I think it would have made more sense for Clay to go up and try to talk Walter out of swinging against the lights, to show that he's a little bit more responsible. And then that breakdown of nothing mattered is even more kind of depressing because he's learned his lesson, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I did think that was a lost opportunity there of him just going like, oh, he's going to do it. It's like, no, your whole thing should be like seeing that's like, wait, no, don't do that. Like I can do stupid stuff like that, but you shouldn't because I care about you.
Right. And he actually told him all the lights, not 3. He only grabbed 3 of the lights. He told him all the lights.
He did. He didn't grab enough.
He didn't grab enough lights.
He's like, you grab all the lights here, then you go grab all the lights there.
You only grab 3 lights. Come on. All right. I've got 2 notes here about the script. So which one do we believe? That this was inspired by an SNL skit and Gordon and Speck came up with the original story idea, or in 2010, Cassidy, the producer, approached Gordon and Speck with the original idea of his to make a movie about a holiday office party. And then according to this note, it was later rewritten by more people, Lee Eisenberg, Gene Stupnitsky, and Laura Solon, who we already credited.
I believe that second note. Because even the first note kind of also says it was just inspired by the title, Office Christmas Party.
Yeah.
And in which case, that's stupid because the 3 words Office Christmas Party are everywhere.
It is.
It's just a thing
OCP.
that happens everywhere. It's dumb.
Let's get to some reviews. Butler. Susan Wolosnia from RogerEbert.com. Well, it's not Ebert, but on RogerEbert.com. Alas, Office Christmas Party serves as yet another reminder that allowing your cast to madly improvise, as evident with an unnecessary end credits blooper reel, instead of actually providing a coherent script with a scintilla of logic, often leads to a decline in sustained laughter.
I laughed throughout this entire movie, and this is Ebert coming back from the dead just to be a grumpy old bastard.
It's Susan, though.
I don't care. That's Ebert talking through her. I think that's good, and I love the after outtakes credits in comedy movies. I think they're funny. This one, maybe not so much, but usually I love them. So it's up yours.
Whoa.
The grumpiness of like people hating comedies. I like there are comedy movies. I think it's really hard to do a good comedy movie myself, but being a grump about it is just like. Some people hold comedies to like the same standards they want to hold like an Oscar winning film. And it's like you review and these critics review them the same. And like, it's just like, you really didn't laugh. Are you that big of a grump? Like, what do you want in a comedy movie? Like,
you're never going to get a comedy nominated for to win an Oscar.
I understand that.
So, so you can't,
but I don't think you should criticize it the same way that you criticize like a drama. I don't think movies should be criticized the same way.
I understand what you're saying, but you should
do.
Well, what's your all-time comedy? Animal House?
Ghostbusters. We've talked about that.
Okay, so where does it rate on the Ghostbusters scale?
Laughability and jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ghostbusters is here, Office Christmas Party is probably about here.
For our podcast listeners, what are you doing?
For the listeners, if Ghostbusters is all the way at the top rung, then I would say Office Christmas Party is about 75% of the way, which is, I think, if Ghostbusters is what I'm considering my top, whatever your top is, then 75% is good for a comedy.
High praise.
You're laughing a decent amount.
That's high praise.
Anything below 50%, then maybe that comedy's not for you.
Where's Wedding Crashers?
I laughed a lot. I would say Wedding Crashers is 75, 80%. I don't remember much of the movie.
Okay.
But I remember laughing at pretty much all the jokes. So I would say it's about 80. I think you like Wedding Crashers more than I do, but I should rewatch Wedding Crashers.
What about Bowfinger?
Bowfinger is about 75, probably on par with Office Christmas Party in terms of.
No, I disagree there. Bowfinger is much better than Office Christmas Party. Anyways, Sherry Linden from The Hollywood Reporter says, quote, with all the sharp comic timing on hand, this party should feel lighter, swifter, more agile. But against its high-rise settings and street-level action, the film struggles to find a steady comic groove.
Yeah, that is a little bit different. Like, I think the laughs are there, but like we said, I think that taking it out of the party does kind of gives it these highs and lows.
Goes back and forth.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think that review's a little bit more even keeled.
Is this film better than Project X?
It's so different. Project X is really like a coming of age kind of a thing, which is like
funnier.
It's situationally funnier, but it doesn't have like one-liners it doesn't have as many one-liners that are as funny as this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The jokes are more in the situation than actual like jokes. And
I should say that we have a Project X alum in this film, Oliver Cooper, who plays Drew, plays one of the tech nerds that Nate is the boss of. He is actually one of the kids in Project X.
Was he?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's also on a show, which I keep pimping to you, is Red Oaks, which you should watch on Amazon. Anyways, last review. And I lost it because I had to go pumping around here.
Nice.
Peter Debruge, from Variety says, clearly the kernel of inspiration behind this whole out of control rager was nostalgia for less politically correct times. So he is saying that this film is teetering on non-political correctness. I
mean, shut up. But also, yeah, I do think that this movie is trying to be like a modern kind of, raunchy comedy.
Party movie.
I absolutely 100%. That's duh. Like, I don't know, like what you want. And it's like, is he saying that it's because of that it's too raunchy for him? Is he saying it's too?
I think it reminds him of those type of films, and I think that's probably what it's trying to mine.
But it sounds like he doesn't like those kind of films, or feels like there's no place for them.
There are definitely a place for those type of films.
100%.
I'm sorry, but the funniest times that you have with your friends is when your comedy is not fit for TV. And that's everybody. So yeah, no. So Mike, who you recommending this to?
People that like comedy movies. I think this was an overlooked comedy movie. I think
overlooked Christmas film.
Yes, 100% overlooked Christmas movie. I think it's still got. I think it gets muddled, but I think the theme's important. I think the theme of, we were managers. Like, I think that's, I think it's important to, like, when you're leading a team, like, I think some of the stuff they talk about works for almost anybody, like really caring about the people that you're working for, but like trying to have like fun and responsibility in the workplace are two different things.
We've never had this type of Christmas party. I've never been part of like a huge party like this. I wish I had been.
Well, some of the parties at your job now, you say, a little not like this.
Not really. Not that I've been there for them. Like, I usually leave at that point.
A little bit more like party.
Yeah, like the holiday party that I have at my job. It's at a place in Stamford, and then it's like everyone dresses up and you go there. But it's like. Right. Like, it's a drive, and for me, obviously, because I'm where I am, and it's okay. It's just I'm just too old for it now. Maybe if I was in my 25, 26, was going to this thing, I'd probably be like, yeah, but like, right? No, But yeah, I think I've said that before.
Everybody can relate to like having that like either a lame holiday party or an awesome one.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone can relate to your jobs getting them down. I think the Christmas theme works. And I think the jokes land. I think that maybe it's imperfect, but I think it's very funny. I think like we've been dissecting it because we were trying not to do lines. So maybe we've dissected it too much. But like you said, you and I both think it's a funny movie. We enjoy it.
Sure.
Let me ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
You put this on the list. So why did you put this
Did
on
I?
the list? Yeah, I did not put this on the list.
I don't even remember when I put things on the list. I mean, sometimes I put things on the list because we're talking about them.
Sure. I don't remember bringing this back up because I remember when you had put it on the list, I was like, oh, that's right. It was good.
Oh, but only because we laughed and I liked it. And then the same thing, you never see it again. You never talk about it again. It's not and it might be because it's too early. Like I'm trying to think of the movies that we did on the show that are newish. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like Malignant, which we just did, or Bad Times at the El Royale. Those are two films that even Malignant's a horror film, so you do kind of see it. But like Bad Times at El Royale, I don't really see it that much. And you know what I mean? I feel like it's not, you know.
Yeah. I hear it talked about a little bit more now as being a good film.
The longer we go, yes. So
Right.
I'm wondering if, like, because this always happens with us. We'll do a movie on the show and then it pops on Stars. So I'm wondering if like in a couple weeks it's on Stars. I'm like, well, there it is. So, I mean, I think it's just because it was a movie that came out in 2016. And then the next year, a couple years later, 2019, or when we start the podcast, 2019,
Sure.
2020, we never talked about it. Nobody ever talked about it. So I think that's probably why. And I think sometimes comedies are like that. I think comedies, you know, the people come in, they laugh and then they leave and they don't really go back to revisit it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not a comedy that has that broad appeal where, I can't remember when Project X was. That was 2012, 2011.
2011, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think that Office Christmas Party being set in Christmas actually hurts it? Do you think you could do that movie, not set it in Christmas, and it would have lasted longer?
No, I think it had. I mean, what are you gonna?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I think what hurts is if you don't see it every holiday season. It's not one of those films that you see
Right, and
every
I think
holiday
being off of the
season.
streamer hurts that.
Well, do you think that has to do with TJ Miller? The fact that he's one of the leads
I was
and
wondering that
he's
at first when we
obviously
couldn't
not.
find it,
Yeah.
that you had to download it. Or
Although Jason
you had to rent
Bateman
it.
is.
He's fine. Yeah. Well, although he's dropped off too. You don't see as many. He was like a Jason Bateman comedy, a Jason Bateman comedy, a Jason.
Well, he did Ozark for a while, so he was doing that.
And it kind of
He's doing a couple, but he's doing a couple like limited series. Like he did the Stephen King one, The Watcher or The Outsider. He did The Outsider. So he's been doing stuff like that. And then I think he's directing something right now. So I think he's doing a lot of different things.
So I don't know if TJ Miller isn't helping it. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know why you take it off. I don't know. But he's got so many stars.
It could also be something that we don't know behind the scenes where rights, or maybe they don't want to, they're not pushing it. They're not, maybe somebody's the same thing we're thinking with TJ Miller's not going to do anything. Why bother? Just going to bring that up. So who knows? Sure. A lot of reasons that we don't know. But unfortunately, I mean, it should. I mean, it should. A movie can be good with someone that is not has a kind of like, you know, had a rough patch and didn't exactly handle things well. Can still both exist and we can still watch it. I mean, sure. So I don't see why we're adults, aren't we? But anyways, so is that why we're saying it's forgotten what we all talked about? Yeah.
Kind of mixing the two together. I think the reason that all those reasons are why it's forgotten, I think people should watch it. I would recommend this to almost anybody who likes comedies. Maybe not people that don't really go into, like, if I think someone's a little too snooty for raunchy comedies, I'd be like, maybe not.
Why would you be friends with them?
Because they're all right.
Don't be a snob.
Right. Yeah, I think.
Don't be a snob.
I think for the most part, most of the people I know, I would recommend this to because I think they would get the humor. They would enjoy.
You ask me all the time why I watch films, and you ask me all the time why did you watch the movie? It looks terrible, and I always watch them because I want to, because I want to see them.
I know why you watch them because you have this impulse, this need to watch them.
Because it's always like I'll watch it.
So I don't ask why.
I'm interested.
When I ask why, it's more like why? More like. Brother, ew.
I don't want to be a snob though. I don't want, because there might be I might be the off chance where I might be wrong.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's an off chance where I might watch something like and something's really funny. Like, so the next week's film, which we're doubling up, so you'll see this next week on the show. You'll see clothes. Next week's film. One of the movies in there is a film called. I have the notes up here. Like in terms of like the movies that came out at the same time, is a film that's called Sleep With Me, and I was like, oh, that sounds familiar, and I watched the trailer for it, and I absolutely watched this film. And I know this film is with like Craig Sheffer and Meg Tilly, Eric Stoltz. It's 94, so it's right either after or before Pulp Fiction came out or something like that. But that movie had a scene that I always remember, and I don't know if you've ever seen this on Twitter, on anywhere, but and I'm gonna bring this up next week too. Where Tarantino and Todd Field are in the movie. Todd Field's one of the friends who's a director, and Tarantino, and they're having the conversation in this film about Top Gun. Do you remember that?
Oh, I don't know the movie, but I
that conversation where they're at a party and he's talking about Top Gun. You be my wingman anytime. That stuff.
Yep.
That's from Sleep With Me. Now I would never have seen that if I was like, Sleep With Me looks stupid. I'm not going to watch that. And that's why I watch that stuff, for that kind of stuff. Because everyone's like, oh, that's a great scene, but nobody knows what movie it's in. It's Sleep With Me. All right. That's the film. And next week I'm going to talk about it again. Mike, where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. You're watching or listening to us right now. Please leave a like, a rating, a subscription. All that stuff really helps the podcast. If you want to support us even more, we have a Patreon with exclusive content, or a merch shop, all that kind of stuff. But honestly, just watch, rate, listen, subscribe. Really helps. Tell your friends about us. Spread the word. The more eyeballs, the better.
And join us next week as we're going to 1994 and then to 2004 in the 2004. Film. Back to 90. The movie came out in 94. We're watching Time Cop.
And I think 1934 is in there too.
It is. And then 1863.
Yes.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, probably one of his better films.
Yes.
Relatively speaking. And so
film or second biggest film.
No, it's his biggest grossing film. You'll join us next week for that same fact and for the retelling of my Sleep With Me story and Time Cop as Forgotten Cinema rolls on. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.
Happy holidays.
Oh,
What'd you get?
Nothing.
That's about right.
Same thing that gets you every year.